Hello, welcome to your program, Project Africa on Ben TV. Project Africa is about good governance and democracy drive. My guest on the show today is a Nigerian who need no introduction per se. He's a Nigerian politician, a former vice president of this great country called Nigeria, and it's also a philanthropist. And election drums are also coming up again, and this great Nigeria is also at it again. My guest is former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. People call him Turaki Adamawa. You are welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Your party, which is the main opposition party in Nigeria, refused to take part in the just concluded national conference, where Nigerian problems were tabled and discussed, possibly preferred solution. Do you have any regret that your party did not take part in that conference?
I don't think I have any regret that the party did not participate as a party, but there are many members of the party who actually participated on their individual basis. But even though the party did not send representatives, there is no regrets. I mean, it was a conference which produced not many new ideas actually. The same ideas or resolutions that have been adopted in previous conferences are the same that eventually emerged. For instance, there is the debate over devolution of powers to the states and so on and so forth. So there are not actually new resolutions as such. And I think at appropriate time, the National Assembly, which has responsibility for constitutional amendments, will look at them.
You were vice president for 8 years. Are you contested 2007 and 2011? Are you not tired of contesting?
No, that's, the life of a politician, is a very exciting one. Yes, I contested in 2007. I ran for the president. But in 2011, I did not run because I did not even become a candidate. So I did not have the opportunity to contest. I think I want to correct you on that case. So in essence, you could say I ran once because I participated in the final polls. As I said, politics is exciting to politicians, and as long as they feel they are strong enough and they have something to contribute, and they are prepared to listen to their people, they can go on for as long as they want to.
You are meant to declare your candidature come 24th of this month. What do you have in stock that is different?
Thank you very much. You see, when you are in office, you acquire a lot of experience in governance. When you are out of office, having interacted, with different sectors of the population, you have engaged them, you come to realize that there are so many things, that perhaps you did not have the opportunity to do. More so, when I was vice president, the duties of a vice president is always what the president has given you to do. So there isn't much you could do as a vice president unless the president concedes, some of his powers to you. Of course, there are some statutory responsibilities that are, provided for by law. So there is quite a lot you gain outside governance, and you believe that when you have another opportunity, you would do things differently than you did before.
You are once in presidency, and you know what it means to have, to have an incumbent factor. If you emerge as your party flag bearer in the primary, you will be confronting or, vying with the president who is in power. Have you checked this factor?
Of course, as a politician, I know the powers of incumbency quite all right. and I know I'm going to face a very strong opponent who is in government and unfortunately who uses government resources and patronage, to swing favor. But the most important thing you realize is that this is a different scenario in the sense that for the first time we are virtually having like a two-party contest, unlike what we had in the past. In the past you had one dominant party and very weak, opposition parties, and that did not give room for competition, and that did not give room for Nigerians to make a choice. But now you are having two almost equally strong political parties for Nigerians, and the opposition party has offered Nigerians a real choice for a change, since the return of democracy in this country. So I think it is something that is doable in spite of the incumbency.
The issue, sometimes ago, too recent, you expressed fear about INEC inability to conduct free and fair election. What, generate that fear, sir?
What generates the fear is that structurally I still believe that INEC is not as independent as it should be, because the ruling party or the government has most of the commissioners nominated by government, and so you cannot guarantee their independence as far as conducting free and fair elections are concerned. So that's why I expressed that fear. But if we had, a process where the appointment of INEC commissioners and other officials of INEC are done by an independent body, devoid of any political consideration, then you could expect a more credible elections. But as long as INEC is presently constituted, of course the fear for not conducting free and fair elections is there. The only thing is that it should be more vigilance on the part of the electorate to make sure that they don't manipulate the elections.
So let's look at your party, APC. A lot of people are saying the party does not have internal democracy, and that could also be the reason why key members of the party are leaving the party back to a ruling party. Do you share that view, sir? Or what's your take on this?
This is news. Really, I find more internal democracy in APC than in PDP. There is no doubt about that. Even going by, the way we have conducted primaries for the emergence of our candidates in the various by-elections that have taken place in the country today. So you could see that there is more internal democracy in APC than in the PDP. As to the point that some people have left, the party, I think it is, I would like to view it, people have been crossing parties. And it is good for democracy, because at the end of the day, it will all settle down. I have always wanted to see a two-party structure in this country, and we are moving towards it. It may take us longer than what it has taken us now. The other parties will disappear and, and find themselves within these two political parties. And I think there is nothing to worry about, because some people decided to leave APC because they couldn't get elected or they couldn't get... it's not a big deal.
Election is just about 5 months away, and we have the issue of insecurity, which has become a major challenge in the country. And some people are saying there might not be election in troubled state. That is one. Do you think the government is doing enough to address the problem of insecurity?
I don't think the government is doing enough because this insurgency has lasted far too long, even longer than the Nigerian civil war. Today we are almost 5 years in insurgency, and I feel the government has not been serious in tackling the insurgency. If we could fight a full-blown civil war within just 2.5 years, there is no reason why we should not be able to put down this insurgency in the last 5 years. So I put the entire blame on government and not enabling the armed forces to have the capacity to deal with the situation. Definitely. I don't think they have done enough. And the fact that the insurgency is still confined to only 2 states in the country does not make any election unlikely. That's out of the question. Because in very many parts of the world, elections have taken place in countries that are in full, war. We have seen elections take place in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Syria, even when the level of war was much more ferocious than our own. Our own is still an internal insurgency, and which should be dealt with before the elections.
Even with the Senate urging Mr. President to declare a full-scale war.
Even with that, I mean, it's still elections can still take place because there are still safe areas where elections can hold.
Will you subscribe for the extension of emergency rule in those 3 states?
The emergency rule or period has not really changed things. I mean, you could fight an insurgency without declaring a state of emergency. It's strange for me, honestly, this so-called, state of emergency, because I have not seen it, alter, the result of the insurgency. If we had, crushed the insurgency in the first 6 months of the state of emergency, you could say, okay, it has worked. But it has not worked. As far as I'm concerned, with or without state of emergency, you could crush an internal insurgency.
It's unfortunate Nigeria, in their own country, are internally displaced because of the security challenge and every other issue. What will you tell Nigeria as you are aspiring to come out?
We have the highest number of internally displaced persons on the continent as of today. And as you said, it's quite unfortunate. And the solution is to restore immediately, peace in the troubled areas, to enable those internally displaced persons, to return to their abode. And then, of course, reactivate, both economic and social infrastructure in those areas. But it's most unfortunate.
Come 24, Nigerians are waiting for your declaration. And also Nigerian diaspora want to know what you want to offer Nigeria.
Of course, I mean, what we are looking to offer Nigeria is good governance or better governance or progressive governance, better than PDP, because the PDP governance, particularly in the last 4 or 5 years, has been terribly bad. I mean, the levels of insecurity, levels of poverty, levels of unemployment, name it, has really gone on the ascendancy, in the country. And with better governance in the country, many Nigerians living abroad will want to come back, because living abroad, is something sometimes you get frustrated. No matter how comfortable you may be, you may want to return back to your country. And with the level of governance improving and progression, then of course people, living conditions will improve. There will be infrastructure development, more power, security, so Nigerians in diaspora will definitely look forward to returning home.
Still on the general election, what will you tell ordinary man on Nigerian street should look for in Atiku Abubakar?
He should look for better governance. He should look for better internal security and stability, and more job creation, scheme, and of course a country which promises, to give you better opportunities, which you want.
Before I go, what will you do if Atiku Abubakar did not get the APC ticket for the presidency?
I will support APC to make sure that they win the election. Definitely. Because I believe APC will do a better job than PDP. There is no doubt about that. I'm convinced whoever becomes a president in APC will do a better job than this PDP government. This very PDP government to continue next 4 years, Nigeria will be crippled completely.
Thank you very much, sir. Viewers at home, that is much we could take with His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the former Vice President of a nation called Nigeria.